Welcome to The Leading Force with IAAC. With us today, once again, we have Ms. Arun Shivdasani, founder and executive director, and director of the film festival, Aseem Chhabra. Moving on to the next segment, Arun, erasing borders, as you beautifully put it together, kind of melting it down. You are now into the exhibition of contemporary Indian art of the diaspora. What is covered under this? What forms of contemporary art are you talking about?
Well, you know, we started this 8 years ago when, again, Indian artists in their own right, not artists from India, but Indian artists in the diaspora were not recognized. It doesn't mean they weren't here. They were here. Mohan Samant, Natwar Bhavsar, Vijay Kumar, they were all here. But people weren't paying attention to them. So what we did is the first one we started was called a passport to contemporary Indian art. And we actually made little passports. And people bought them. And each page had a blurb about the artist studio, and it started off with studio visits. So we sold that, and we had everyone come into one of the galleries, Arani Bose's gallery, and he spoke about contemporary Indian art. And then we had, either you could go with one of our docents, one of our volunteers, who would take them to the different studios, and we had a bus taking people to Nyack and Brooklyn, etc. Or you could go on your own, because people had their own transport or wanted to go on your own. But within those 2 days, the entire weekend, people would visit all the studios, meet the artists, maybe buy their work, maybe chat with them, ask what they did. And then at the end of the weekend, everyone met for dinner and met all the artists and talked to them. From that was the base that we set off, and we really introduced Indian diaspora artists in the New York area to New York. After that, we decided to open it up to the country. Again, diaspora. So we did calls for submissions, much like we do for the dance and the film, and had people send in their DVDs with their work and their bios and everything. We've had 2 curators, Sundaram Tagore, who has his own gallery, and Vijay Kumar, who is a senior artist, one of the ones who was showcased in the first one. Sundaram has curated 2 of the shows, and Vijay Kumar pretty much does the others. We do have a director in the department who works with Vijay, Tanu Jindal, and they work together and come up with these artists. We started off with just paintings, very Indo-centric, ethnic-based paintings. It's moved. Now we have sculpture, we have painting, we have video art, we have installations, and things, the artists themselves have matured, and I think the audiences have matured to Indian artists. We opened the other day, the opening at the Icon Gallery, because this exhibition travels to all sorts of museums and galleries up and down the East Coast. We opened here in Manhattan at the Icon Gallery, and you know, I thought summer, okay, it's a weekday, we'll have a few people. 250 people jammed that
and there's
place.
Certainly a lot of curiosity about India's art forms, especially after Mr. Hussain.
And these artists have started selling. We didn't think, I mean, you start it and you're giving them a platform, you're giving them, we also have discussions that we organize around it so that the artists can talk about their work. But now we've started asking them to give us their price lists so that we put it out and people are buying their art. Donald Rubin bought one.
So these are the 3 core segments of IAAC, even though your mandate calls for going into other areas, which is books, fashion.
No, we have more. We do wonderful book launches.
Yeah, which is what I'm touching now. I was going to go to Aseem, because he being a journalist,
he will
I know his focus remains, your core is essentially the films. But being a journalist and possibly an author, Indian authors have really done well globally. You know, they have been received very, very well. Where do you see this segment in the future of IAAC?
Oh, the IAC already does that. They have book launches. In fact, this evening.
True, but in terms of its growth, because if you look from outside point of view, the first 3 are your core segment, but this is other mandate.
When it comes to books, what IAC has not done, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't had a literary festival as such.
That's true.
That we haven't done. But every month there are at least, I mean, this evening there's actually a book launch of a cookbook by a South Indian cookbook writer. There was a book event just last week where we were having this whole conversation about civil society in India, written by a professor at Lehigh University. So IAC consistently, does that. They also you also do drama, for instance.
We'll come to that, but let's.
We have launched books by Suketu, Suketu Mehta, by Salman Rushdie, by Bapsi Sidhwa, by Madhur Jaffrey, by Shashi Tharoor, by a lot of these.
Now you select the books after they have made it, or before they have made it?
No. When they are coming out, we do the launch parties.
Okay,
so that it's already selling everywhere and we're doing just one celebration. No, the launch parties for these books. But you're right about literary festivals. In fact, Shashi asked how come the IAC hasn't done it. We do want to do it, but I think at this point it's premature because the economy is so bad. We are trying to garner support for the programs we have in place. So I think we're going to stick with book launches till we can get enough support to start another festival, because even the music festival, we do many concerts, but we do not do a festival.
Fashion, you have a mandate on fashion also, and fashion is really catching up. India's designers are now globally known. India's fashion shows are really making an impact. The models are doing extraordinarily well. Where do you see that in your focus in next few years?
Fashion is not really one of our mandates. We do it because it is India. It's part of our culture. So we did do it, and we showcased a lot of Indian designers through this organization, Misha Nicole, and they did an enormous fashion show for us, which was very successful. And we showcased Ritu Kumar, Tarun Tehliani, a lot of these. But we do it as a matter of, fundraising, really. And because we do, it's something that gets support, people enjoy it.
Right.
And
just
clothes
glamour.
And food and everything is part of who we are.
Right.
But it's not something that we necessarily concentrate on. It is creativity. So yes, we maybe should go there, but it's not one of our focuses at the moment.
And theatre, where does it sit in your
Theatre is
plan?
big. We have, with the Lark Theatre, done an annual playwrights festival, and we have nurtured playwrights like Asif Mandvi, like Anuvav Pal, Rajiv Joseph, who had something on Broadway with Robin Williams, and the first time he read that play was in my living room. So we have nurtured wonderful playwrights who are doing really well out there on their own. Obviously they have talent,
right.
But we've worked with them and they're almost part of our family. But we present separate plays also. This theatre on its own. We've presented Draupadi. We're going to present another. We've done the Tendulkar Festival, which was phenomenal. We did all Tendulkar's plays. What we did is farm them out to different theatres in New York, but we were the umbrella. And we brought in Vijay Tendulkar, who is no more, but he was a member of our advisory group and very close to the IAC, who sat in on rehearsals and did all this, and then wrote a play himself with us at the Lark Theatre. Mm-hmm. And then the play company did Sakharam Binder, who Sarita Chowdhury was in, etc. And it was phenomenal. We had an amazing festival. We want to do a Girish Karnad festival because, like Vijay, Girish is also a real luminary in the theatre world.
Yeah.
And he, like Vijay, also wrote screenplays. So when we did the Tendulkar Festival, we had theatre, we had discussions, and we had film. And we want to do that with Girish too. But we were thinking of doing it 2012. We might keep that as for 2013 and really work on that to do a big component, because we have to bring in our theatre people as well as the film people, which is Asim sitting here, and do that.
Some of the plays have done kind of well in some areas, like Blue Mug did well in California. We presented it. But generally speaking, the plays, whether it's off-Broadway or the ones that are brought from India, including Salam India, Lucian brought it and we presented it, somehow they don't evoke that kind of reaction. They're wonderful plays. While on the other hand, you have a Paresh Rawal-led Krishan versus Kanhaiya, which has done 2 rounds already, 52 shows, and the last time he had to do 2 shows on the same day because there was no more room left. Have you considered something that, I won't call it a commercial because if you've seen the play, it's a wonderful script. It's one of the best scripts that I have seen. being a theatre from a theatre background, have you thought about IAAC presenting a Kishan versus Kanhaiya?
No. Actually, it was suggested to us too. The organization who was presenting it was commercial. We don't do any commercial work. We are a not-for-profit, and we want to give people platforms and to give back to the artists. Now, Paresh Rawal is wonderful. That play was great. But we also want to promote it to mainstream America. And if it's not done in English, it's a problem for us.
But you presented plays of Shabana Azmi with Nasiruddin Shah,
In English.
Tumhari Amrita, yeah.
In English,
Yes,
but they had a
Yes.
different focus.
Right,
Yes,
right.
But we've done all those. We have done all those, and I think if we could get to the stage where we could do maybe that play with subtitles like the Met does or something, maybe.
So what is the big plan for IAAC now? You got it all. You're almost a decade into it.
Well,
So where
we
do you go
need to
from
be
here?
funded enough to have our own home. I really think it'll make an enormous difference. We're going to be able to present so much more and be much more creative if we're not spending half our time running around trying to get money. Because all our directors, even though Asim, Prachi, Tanu, Rohan, myself, we spend an inordinate amount of time, yes, doing the programming, but also trying to chase the buck. And if we were able to raise enough money to have somebody whose sole job was to garner financial support, and we had a base where we could exhibit, we could produce, we could screen, we could, it would be marvelous. And artists need a place where they can come and hang, where they can create, where they can talk to each other and get excited about projects. I think it'd be wonderful if we had that home. And if some white knight comes along and says, I'm going to buy this wonderful apartment or brownstone or something, it'll be Indo-American Arts Council, it'll be phenomenal.
Let's hope that will happen soon. And Asim, on the film festival side, did it ever occur to you, you're doing such a wonderful film festival of tying up with a mainstream television channel for the same week while you're doing it? So same film that you have taken, let's say 50 movies, and you could screen for the whole 10 days or 7 days, tie up with a channel, and where you screen these films also.
You
And
talking
I
about
think-
mainstream Indian channels?
No,
or
no, no.
the-
I'm talking about the mainstream. When I say mainstream, is American channels.
Well, there's been some conversation. PBS is kind of a place where we could show some of our films.
Right.
I know some of the Asian American film festivals do that, so that's something that we definitely want to look at in the future.
I'm saying this because of what she continues to say. As an NGO, it's a struggle to raise money, and if you tie up with the movie channels or a channel who would showcase during the festival, and it is obviously going to be monetized and
Right.
bring revenues to do what you want to do.
Well, yeah, but and there is interest in Indian cinema even when channels like HBO and Showtime. Sundance is a good place to go because they have their own film festival, but we could possibly take that could be an idea where we
Their
could show a
channels,
component.
Sundance is tied
Right,
up with Bravo.
but I'm saying that that we could show a component of Indian films through them. I mean those are possibilities definitely worth
Because
exploring.
that will generate revenue. People are sitting anywhere, they don't come to a
Right.
theatre, but they could be
Absolutely.
watching it and they're
Right.
paying for it. It's a
Right.
pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
And it's a wonderful way to reach larger audience actually this way.
That I think is the most important thing about the larger audience.
It's very
definitely.
important. One has to obviously bring the filmmakers into that discussion too.
Yeah, I think we have thought about it, and so I'm sharing with you. This will help in raising the bar.
Maybe we should
getting it
have a
large.
conversation.
When you have little more time than you could give us today. We are almost coming to the close of the program. With all this that you have got, and I have studied your website, today one of the most important ways to communicate with a larger global community is a portal. Has it occurred to you set up your own portal where you can showcase everything?
Again, the idea has been floated. And I think it's a good idea, but it needs resources and staff and time. So, and time and staff are all part of the
But
resources.
it's very important part because
It
today
is a very
every
important
organization
part.
is connecting globally, because somebody like you said, Grants, a Japanese sitting in Tokyo may be looking for, I want to do something for India, and they don't know about IAAC for that matter, and they do a Google and they see a profile as I saw it, as we have known it anyway. It's extraordinary, and suddenly he says or she says, look, this is something I want to support, because of they get in touch with you through this portal where all this that you've got, work that you've done in the last 14 years, extraordinary work, could be showcased.
Yes.
Let me ask you last, even though with due respect to Aseem, what he has been doing for last couple of years as a friend, colleague, and the other people that you mentioned as friends who have helped you in advisory board, is IAAC still a one-person show, or it is an organization which can carry your vision?
It is and it isn't. I must say the final responsibility of ensuring that it continues is with me. And that is, I think, with any ED. I happen to be the founder, I happen to be passionate about it, and I happen to be the ED, the executive director. But I have to tell you that Aseem is sitting here and the other directors who are not here, as well as, you know, we're a volunteer-driven organization. All our volunteers and our board and our advisory board are all very passionate about this. And if they weren't, they wouldn't be working for practically nothing. They want to see these art forms and these artists showcased and getting to a place. They are all involved in each one in their own talent base in getting this organization further, purely because it does what it does. And I do think that, I hope, that tomorrow if I'm crossing the road and get hit by a bus, that the board and the advisory board and these directors will see that there's enough in this to take it on. I do think that, you know, I happen to be associated with it because I founded it and I've been running it for so many years. Yeah. But I'm passionate about it, and I think till I fall apart, I'll probably continue doing that. But all of them are equally involved and equally passionate about the mission of giving these artists a platform. Otherwise, you know, this could not carry on. It couldn't have even lasted as long as it has.
That's wonderful to know. Setting up your dream on the ground, getting it forward, spreading it all over, making it the niche of the industry that you have taken on in the last 14 years, getting extraordinarily capable people on your board and to work with you here with Aseem. I think your organization is certainly a leading force, a prestige for our community and the global community in general who is interested in art forms and the culture. We really appreciate your time coming to this show, and we'll be always there with you. I can't use the word support you because we are too small, but we're all holding hands. Once again, congratulations for your continued success. Arun, thank you for coming out. Aseem, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
With this, we end this beautiful show, a wonderful 1-hour session with the two luminaries of Indo-American Arts Council. Truly a leading force. Support them, as she said. Be with them all the way to make it bigger and better. This is Sunil Hali signing off for today. Thank you.